20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection, the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. So how will you know which mattress works best for you and your body? Well, take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes, and your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door, free of charge. I took the Helix Sleep Quiz and I was matched with a Helix Sunset mattress because I want something that felt soft and while I sleep on my side all night. The Helix Sunset is a complete upgrade from my previous mattress, and if my partner is tossing and turning all night, I don't even feel a thing. It is amazing. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. That's why they offer a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. Helix has also been awarded the #1 mattress pick by GQ and Wired magazine. It is even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. Helix is offering 25% off site-wide if you go to helixsleep.com/Midas. That's helixsleep.com/Midas. MEIDAS. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
So what Trump is saying right here is that on their own, they're not taking direction from Trump, and that they are choosing, Trump's DOJ lawyers, not to facilitate the return on their own. And essentially, Trump saying that if his lawyers told him something differently, that you had to facilitate the return, he's basically like, well, I would do it. They're just not telling me that. Now, we know that's not the case, right? I mean, we know intuitively that Donald Trump has told them what he wants them to do, and they're following Trump's guidance. But he's throwing them out there right now to basically have their own bar licenses on the hook. Donald Trump then is asked by this Time magazine reporter, so have you asked Bukele to return Abrego Garcia? And then Trump goes, I haven't, but he said he wouldn't. But question, did you ask him? I haven't asked him positively, but he said he wouldn't. But if you haven't asked him, then how are you facilitating his release? Watch Trump's response. Well, because I haven't been asked by my attorneys to do that. Nobody asked me to ask him that question except you. So Trump is saying that the first time he's ever heard that he was required to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia was from this Time magazine reporter and not from the DOJ. Trump claims they told him nothing. You better believe that the lawyers for Abrego Garcia, who are sharp and smart lawyers, that they are going to tell the judge that. By the way, there's something going on behind the scenes in the Abrego case that I'm sure we'll find out soon, because there's been a delay in the government's requirement to respond to discovery. So I think behind the scenes, it's hard for me to know because a lot of things are happening what's called under seal, meaning it's happening confidentially to the public. I think there's some activity regarding Abrego that's not being reported right now, that's in the under seal filing, because it's the only reason why federal Judge Zinnes in Maryland would allow the Trump regime to have some delay in their turning over discovery. Then the reporter says, do you believe that Abrego Garcia deserves his day in court? And then Donald Trump does like some ranting and raving about a bunch of nonsense. And then the Time reporter that goes, but look, Nazis got their day in court. Al-Qaeda terrorists got their day in court. Surely Abrego Garcia, who your first administration gave a work permit to in 2019, who has no criminal history, who's been checking in with ICE regularly every year to restore his work permit every year, or to renew his work permit every year, who's married to an American woman, has 3 American children. Like, this guy should have due process, right? And what does Trump say? I really give that to my lawyers to determine. That's why I have them. That's not my determination. It's something that, frankly, bringing him back and retrying him wouldn't bother me. But I leave that to my lawyer. You could bring him back and you could retry him. You see what Trump is doing there? He's good at 2 things: fraud, criming, which put them together, and throwing people under the bus. And he does that there. Of course we could retry him. And I think he also knows how underwater he is on the issue. So he's scapegoating his lawyers right there. And the Time magazine reporter goes, that's exactly right. You could fix this simply by bringing him back and going through the legal process. And what does Trump say? But I leave that decision to my lawyers. At this moment, they don't want to do that. They say we're in total compliance with the Supreme Court. So it is a total throwing of the lawyers under the bus right there. And you see a pattern of this too. Remember a few weeks back when Trump was asked by a reporter, will you ask for the return of Abrego Garcia? Trump said, I must tell you, I'm going to have to refer this to you're going to have to speak to my lawyers. They're the ones. I don't have anything to do with this. Play this clip.
Okay.
Mr. President, we have a great relationship with the president of El Salvador. Will you ask him to release Abrego Garcia so that you can facilitate his return here to the United States? And do you believe he deserves due process here?
Well, I must tell you, I have to refer again to the lawyers. I'll have to do what they ask me to do. I had heard that there were a lot of things about a certain gentleman, perhaps it was that gentleman, that would make that case be a case that's easily winnable on appeal. So we'll just have to see. I'm going to have to respond to the lawyers.
Mr. President, we're learning that there are now 2 deceased following that shooting.
Or then Trump was asked, what about a judge who was issuing contempt? Criminal contempt against the behavior of your administration. What are you going to do when they go find people in contempt? Trump's like, not my problem. Go speak to the lawyers. Here, play this clip.
Are you trying to remove him, Mr. President?
You have a question?
Mr. President, yesterday Judge Boasberg, in a case against your administration, said the Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial orders. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, you're going to have to speak to the lawyers. We have great lawyers. I can tell you this, we're doing a fantastic job of getting criminals out of this country who Biden allowed into the country. Hundreds of thousands of criminals, murderers and drug dealers. And I was elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one factor, a lot of reasons, the economy, a lot of things. But one of the primary reasons I was elected is because I said, I'm going to get the criminals that he allowed. I'm going to get them out. And I got a lot of votes, record-setting numbers of votes. As you know, we won everything. The popular vote, all 7 swing states, we won everything. And that's what the public wanted, and that's what I'm doing. But you'll have to speak to the lawyers because it's up to them.
Now, let me leave you with this. Earlier this week, Judge Zinnes made this ruling, postponing discovery in the Abrego Garcia case for a week, with the agreement of both sides. As Kyle Cheney says, the reason is unclear, but it follows a sealed filing from the government this AM. That follows Judge Zinnes saying that your breaches, Trump DOJ lawyers, in not obeying my orders are willful and malicious, and she's setting up for contempt. Criminal contempt, I think, against the lawyers, throwing the lawyers in jail. And by the way, Trump was asked in the Time magazine interview, would you follow lower court rulings as well? And Donald Trump said that he would. So what do I think is happening? I think now these lawyers feel the pressure and they're like, Trump's throwing us under the bus. So I think that they're actually, and you may call me naive, I think they may be actually trying to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia and figuring out a way to do it because they know that they're going to be thrown under the bus. There was another ruling by a Trump appointed judge in Maryland. Judge Zinnes is not Trump appointed. But a Trump appointed Maryland district court judge ordered another individual to be returned the same way Abrego has been ordered to be returned. So we're going to see a lot of orders like this now because what's happened is groups like the ACLU and others have been filing in different jurisdictions and states pursuant to a prior Supreme Court ruling to get the return of these people. So that's happening. So I think we're going to see dozens of orders. Return this person, return that person, return all those 200 plus people who are in the concentration camps in El Salvador now. I think the Trump regime's trying to figure out how to backtrack this and save face as they're being thrown under the bus by Trump. You see it there. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
New Midas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.midastouch.com.